Hey guys, Josh here at JTech. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick vehicle inspection on this 2012 Chevy truck. We're going to start on the inside and we're going to work our way out and underneath. Now that this truck is started, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the windows, make sure they work. These are powered, so it looks like they do work. I'm also going to check to make sure there's no lights indicators on the dashboard. I'm going to check the AC as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on max and see how cold it gets. Also while I'm in here, I'm just going to make sure the blinkers and stuff work on the dash. I'm going to mess with the lights a little bit, make sure the high beams and everything work. I'm also going to check these wiper blades and the washer nozzles to make sure they're actually spraying. While we're out here heading around the vehicle, I'm also going to check the tires, make sure the tires are good, no feathering, cupping, or any bald spots, anything that just kind of sticks out. That tire there looks pretty good. Come around the front here. Headlights are on, this blinker is on. While I'm up here, I'm going to go ahead and check the condenser and radiator fins, make sure they're clean, not a whole lot of dents or anything like that. Headlights are on here, side markers. On the back, I'm going to check and look at the plate lights. Those are working. The brake lights are on, the third brake light. Also have this left blinker on, so that's good there. I'm going to check this last tire here, and then we'll check the other side of the blinkers. Pop the hood at this point, make sure I'm grabbing the keys so I don't lock them in the vehicle. It's also a good idea to leave a window open. Hood for some things here. Now this vehicle has the spring style hood lift, so I'm just going to check that, make sure they're good. First thing I notice is the washer cap right here. You can't really see it, but down there it is full. I'm also going to look at the brake fluid here. It's not the full, in between the minimum and full. It's a little mucky in there, but you know, that might be something to have someone look at. Also, while I'm over on this side, I'm going to check those hoses, make sure they're not brittle or dry, you know, not rotted. And then I have the belt here, serpentine belt. You might take a look at that. It seems fine. It's newer vehicle, but if it was dry rotted or something, you might want to get a look at that. Also have power steering down here. You're not going to be able to see, but it's got a little dipstick on it. It looks like it's at the full mark. I can see down in there a little mucky as well, kind of like the brakes. So that might be something to look at too. I'll make a note of that. The battery terminals I'm going to take a look at. There's a little bit of corrosion here on this positive terminal in there, so get that cleaned up, take a look at it. Also, I'm going to look at the coolant here. Now some of these systems, when they're hot, the coolant will you know, explode out, so it's very dangerous. So I'm actually just going to leave that the way it is right now. But I do notice that it is above the minimum capacity when hot. And the coolant looks fine from here. It's the orange text cool. While I'm over here, I'm also going to take a look at the oil. Little goldish color. And it is in the it is above the minimum, so I think we're good there. Also, I'm going to check the transmission fluid. Automatic, that they should be on to get a proper reading of it, and the coolant should be warm. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to pull it out and kind of check the quality of the fluid. Fluid looks fine. It was above the minimum line. There didn't look like there's a bunch of dirt or anything in there like that. It wasn't very mucky. So I think the transmission fluid on this is going to be fine. And then lastly, you're going to want to take a look at the air filter box, make sure there's no holes or anything in there. The air filter sits inside here. If you want to take a further step, you can open up the air filter and see the actual filter inside. But you know, the box looks serviceable, so there's not going to... Hey guys, Josh again with JTech. We got the truck up in the air. Now we did use a drive-on style lift, so checking the suspension components and things like that without using the jacks on the inside is a little more difficult. So, but typically what we would do is if we had it on a lift, the fork style lift from underneath, when the wheels got about chest high, and at that point you're gonna go ahead and grab those wheels. You're just gonna kind of shake them side to side. Now, if there's any play in there side to side, a little play is going to be normal. Excessive play, you might want to look at tie rod ends or something like that. If you're and then at the same time, you'll grab top to bottom, and you're going to do that same thing. Excessive play in there can be a couple things, maybe a ball joint or both ball joints, or maybe even the wheel hub bearing might be going bad. So that would be a typical thing we would do with each tire as you're going around. And then if you had to take the tires off, you'd pop the cover here, you'd pull them off. When you put them back on, you'd set them to torque. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go underneath, and I'm gonna explain all that. So right above me here is the engine. It's right here. Also, this would be up on the steering rack here. This is a rack and pinion style steering rack. The engine's here. I can tell that because it's at the front, and this is a rear wheel drive truck. So the engine's always going to be in the front when it's rear wheel drive. Also, I can tell because it has some different things bolted to it, like the AC compressor up here. Also, while I'm under here, I can take a look at any of these bushings here. This is a strut style suspension with lower A-arm. This is your A-arm control arm. You have sway bar here. Got some water there dripping from the AC being on. And then over here, you might want to take a look at the brakes. You can see the calipers look fine. It's a new vehicle again. The rotors actually look pretty good from this side. The pads don't look too worn down. They look pretty new actually. And there's a couple gaps in there where you can kind of see that, and you'll notice some rubbing and stuff. But what you're going to want to look for is some shiny areas or some leakage in here. The shiny area is going to tell you that there's something rubbing. But you're just going to go under here and you're going to check all this stuff. Make sure there's no torn boots or anything. Everything looks pretty good in this one. As I move back here, here's the transmission. The exhaust comes out both sides here. There's oxygen sensors up there. Then as you go back here, you also have, these are your cats right here. There's an oxygen sensor on either side. You're gonna want to check all this for rust or loose wires, something like that. Everything looks pretty good. The whole frame looks really good. So we're gonna go ahead and make our way towards the back. Transmission up there that we're just underneath. Here's your drive shaft. Your exhaust comes back through here. There's a flex pipe up there, a muffler. You're just checking all this for rust or corrosion or anything like that. Check the hangers on the exhaust. Over here you got your fuel tank. Just make sure they typically have some type of cover. Make sure that's good. Nothing's leaking. Nothing rubbing. Your differential here. The seal will leak a lot of times. So just make sure there's no leaking there. You have the little lines running up over for ABS and things like that, or parking brakes, so make sure all that's good. Again, this is a brand new truck basically, so there's really nothing wrong with it. This is a live rear axle, and it has the strut or leaf spring and strut style suspension. Also, it does have rear drums on the back here, so you're just gonna kind of make sure there's not excessive brake dust or anything like that. And check out the spare tire. Everything looks good there. The shock's a little rusty there for the strut. A little rusty there, not really a big deal. It's not leaking or anything. And you just kind of take a look at all the subframe or the frame and the tow hitch. Just make sure all the wires look good. So on this truck, I don't see anything that would be a problem. There's a little bit of rust here or there, typical. And without actually doing a full suspension check, I wouldn't be able to say anything about that, but overall, the truck looks really good.